Consumers of professional wrestling, hello again. My name is Dan Wilson, and you are listening to Receipt Radio, where I talk professional wrestling in the Australian and New Zealand region. I'm back. This is the return. Get excited or not. But on this episode, regardless, I've dubbed it New South Wales NEWSWIRE. So if you were listening to me previously, I was doing episodes where I was keeping you up to date with the happenings of the promotions local to New South Wales and where I've been able to get to a show or watch a show. I'll also give a recap and review some of the action that I've witnessed. So I will do this favor for you if you can do something for me. It's pretty simple. Go and give my Facebook page a like. Simply search Potato and Receipt Pro Wrestling on Facebook. You'll find me there. Give that bad boy a like. I'd really appreciate it. And then the other thing that you could do is go on to Twitter. I'm at Potato and Recei, RECEI1. Sorry, it's a bit confusing, but yes, if you could go on there and follow me, and I'll follow you back because I pretty much follow everyone. I've got like 3,000 followers that I follow, and I've got like 20 followers. So if you want to give me a follow, that would be really appreciated as well. The other thing that I've been doing, I took a bit of a break from covering wrestling. I just sort of watched it. So the first thing I did when I came back, other than sharing basically everything that I see on Facebook that I like, I started doing these profiles once a week. So I'm 3 weeks into that at the moment. I did, Alex Irvine, Awkward Alex Irvine was lovely enough to be my very first profile. I then got the Beach Bum Buddha Jackson Kelly, and then I was lucky enough for Vinny Vane to give me some time to basically fill in answer the generic questions, I should say. I wrote a little spiel about the three of them. If there's any wrestlers out there that would like to work with me, or even people within the wrestling community, the greater community, podcasters, referees, announcers, commentators, any role that you can think of, I could definitely manipulate the questions. It is a core set of questions that do sort of skew towards a wrestler at this point, but I'm more than happy to get the other people who make wrestling shows happen, get them out there as well and get them some positive exposure too, because that's the goal, is trying to get as many of the names known. So, fans know about Alex Irvine, Jackson Kelly, Vinny Vane, and not just the fact that they're wrestlers, but, some of their thoughts and feelings. It's really cool to hear about a dream match, or a dream opponent, I should say, for a wrestler on the local scene. I definitely have the international one in there because I always love to know who internationally someone would like to face, but just hearing who people want to wrestle locally is pretty cool too. And maybe if promotions follow the page or see those thoughts, those dream matches, maybe one day they'll happen. So if I can help wrestlers do that, get their name out there, get them some more bookings, then that's exactly what I want to do, and that makes me very happy. I also got Daryl on Twitter. He gave me some love for the profiles as well. Daryl, thank you so much. I'm so happy that you enjoyed them, and I'm going to keep them coming because I enjoy doing them. And even the wrestlers that have been nice enough so far. Again, thank you, Alex Irvine. Thank you, Jackson Kelly. Thank you, Vinny Vane. You were also positive about the whole thing as well, so thank you so much. So once you're done looking at those profiles, you can also hit up potatoandreceipt.com, where you'll find another version of those profiles, and you'll also find a couple other pieces I've written. I wrote a couple of articles about Coliseum, the PWA tournament that's coming up in October. I also reviewed a couple of shows. There was a Wrestling Go show online. I believe that was Metal Mayhem. So I checked that one out and I wrote a review about that. And I've also been able to see the Southern Showdown, the New Japan show. I was fortunate enough to attend the second night in Sydney because that's where I live, but I did watch the Melbourne show on Fight. So I wrote a review of the weekend. And I most recently watched Newcastle Pro Wrestling number 80 as well. So that was live on OVO, and I was able to watch from the comfort of Sydney on a very, very cold evening. I was able to take that in. So, yeah, if you want to see my thoughts on things or catch up on shows you may have missed, or yeah, want to check out those profiles, please hit up potatoandreceipt.com. All right, well, that's enough of me rambling. Let's sort of hit promotion by promotion, which I like to do on the previous episodes, and find out what is going on the New South Wales Newswire. I'm going to go alphabetical order this week, so I will start with Australian Wrestling Entertainment, or AWE. They're up first, and the promotion has a new website from what I can see, so it's awesuperstars.com.au. It looks very nice. It looks like it's still in its early days. I was having a bit of a play around with it, but it looks really nice graphically. I saw a video this evening as well. I'm recording this on a Sunday evening here in Sydney, the 21st of July, and they've revealed that they have a new major sponsor in Hardcore Gym 24/7. That's a gym here in Sydney. So AWE is making moves, which is great. It's good to see. And they've got two shows coming up. So if you're an AWE fan, they've got a couple of shows called the Road to Redemption shows. It's the Road to Redemption Tour. It's on Friday, August 30 at Ryde Eastwood Leagues Club. And then on Saturday, September 7, they are at the SSA Club in Albury, which features seven-time world champion and British wrestling great Marty Jones, who I believe will be conducting some seminars while he's here as well. So that's really good for the wrestlers to have someone of such experience around to give them guidance. So that's awesome. Great stuff from AWE. There have been a few match announcements for these two nights so far. So I'll go through some of the ones I've seen. And on night one at Ryde Eastwood Leagues, we have an AWE Cruiserweight Championship match, and that is between Jaguar Kid and Jay Sorbet. I'm a big fan of Jay Sorbet's work. He's done quite well for himself lately. He competed in the Young Lions Cup for Shikara this year, which was awesome to see him there, along with Ricky South. And yeah, Jaguar Kid, I've seen wrestle for the likes of AWF and All Star Wrestling Australia as well. So know that this will be a really competitive match for the Cruiserweight Championship. Another match up announced for the night one is an AWE Tag Team Championship match, and that's between the Young Guns, and they'll be taking on Slade and Zuko. The Young Guns, Billy Vax and Scotty Magnum, they're extremely popular with the AWE fans. This was based on bits and pieces that I've seen on YouTube. I haven't been able to get to an AWE show yet, but there was a ladder match that I saw that they did at Concord RSL, and the crowd was red hot for the Young Guns, and rightfully so. They're talented young guys doing great things. They're wearing the belts, so they must be doing something great. But this will be a big challenge for them, taking on Slade and Zuko. It'll be interesting for them because it looks like they're not only in action on this first night of the tour, they're then also going to Albury and competing there as well. So a couple of big tag team matches for them over those two shows. The main event for night one will be a triple threat for the AWE Championship. It's between champion Mr. Exclusive, Psychotic, and Vinny Vane. And these three men, from what I can see from following, they always find themselves near the top of the heap for the promotion. They're always near the strap, so it'll be really interesting to see if Mr. Exclusive can retain here with strong challenges in both Vane and Psychotic. So it's going to be a really interesting match, that one, and really great way to cap off night one of the Road to Redemption Tour. And then we go to night two, and this sees Vinny Vane sort of go to war and continue that rivalry with Psychotic, and that's going to be in a street fight. So, there's increased drama with the gimmick match there, and they're very heated rivals, both Psychotic and Vane. So there will be no love lost in that one, and it will be a brutal one, an Albury street fight. The Young Guns, as I said before, they'll be in action again. They'll be battling DCT and Muhammad Ali Vaez for the AWE Tag Team Championships. That is if they retain on the first night of the tour. So Ali Vaez and DCT, if you're unfamiliar, are both very reputable opponents separately. So it'll be really interesting to see how they cooperate as a team. DCT is the former Insane Championship Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion from over in the UK. And he spent 2019 in Australia. He's wrestled for the likes of BCW, MCW, Showdown, and Underworld. So quite a bit of time in Melbourne. And Ali Vaez was, of course, the former Ohio Valley Wrestling Heavyweight Champion and has wrestled all around America and Australia in his 13-year career. So this could prove trouble for the Young Guns. Two very good singles competitors teaming up here to try and take those belts. But the whole thing with tag team wrestling is all about how well you gel as a team. DCT and Ali Vaez are two very interesting personalities, so it'll be interesting to see whether they can cooperate to take the belts off a team that are running on all cylinders. They're gelling extremely well in the Young Guns. Jaguar Kid also has been announced again for night 2 in action, where he battles Dan Archer. Those two guys are very familiar with each other, so there'll be some good action there and good action in general on tap from AWE here. So if you're keen, get to the show at Ryde, or if you're in Albury, get out and support it. I love wrestling going to regional centres, so that's really good. Great stuff, AWE. All right, moving on to AWF now, the Australasian Wrestling Federation. And the new AWF Tag Team Champions were crowned. New AWF Tag Team Champions were crowned at AWF's City Slam event at Mothership Studios, Marrickville. That was on Saturday, July 13th, with Chris Rucker and Grant Lindstrom capturing the titles. And this was not the only title change during the event. With new championship, the Next Wrestling Stars Championship captured by TNT. I believe I made a mistake there. I think in my notes there, I think that TNT actually got that the night before in Springwood. But basically, yeah, there's a new belt, the Next Wrestling Stars Championship, which came to Australia via Mitsu, who was one of the international talents coming to Sydney for the event. He brought that to the Hubcom Super Slam event in Springwood. So, to be honest, with that belt, I'm not sure what the history is or if it's a new AWF exclusive championship, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens down the line, and hopefully some more information comes to light about it. Their next advertised event is actually up in Queensland on August 24 at the Diggers Services Club in Logan Central. And that's going to be the second of their AWF State of Origin Wrestling. So there was an event here in Sydney in Parramatta back in April. So this is sort of the next stage. So we should definitely expect some more interstate battles between cockroaches and cane toads at this event. That is a football reference if you're not sure. New South Wales are the cockroaches and the cane toads are the Queenslanders. Some New South Welshmen will try and claim it's cattle dogs, but I am a New South Welshman myself, and I'm happy to admit it is cockroaches. So I'll let you know on another episode of New South Wales Newswire when information comes out regarding their next New South Wales event as well. TNT has teased the return of T-Hawk of OWE and AEW fame, who is sort of teased returning to Australia at the end of 2019 and bringing the AWF Championship, sorry, not to be confused with the Commonwealth Championship, the AWF Championship back to the country. Of course, T-Hawk captured the title during the Super Show tour. That was back in May 2018. The tour that had the likes of Christopher Daniels and Ryback on it, and Suicide. It also had the Strong Hearts, so it had Shima, T-Hawk, and El Lindemann, who you've now seen wrestle on AEW, if you've been following that new promotion in the US, which I'm sure you have. So this is an opportunity for TNT to capture that belt, because that title hasn't been in the country for over a year, so it really is up to him to try and get it back. To me, it probably isn't missed. If I'm going to be honest, the AWF Championship is probably enough. The AWF Commonwealth Championship, I should say. Very confusing. So maybe if it does come back and into the AWF fold, it might be worth unifying them for good, and then maybe getting rid of one of the two belts. The AWF roster itself, it's probably not deep enough to have multiple titles anyway, if we're honest. So it's probably good just to have sort of the AWF Championship and the Tag Team Championships, and just let the stories play around the AWF Championship or the Commonwealth Championship if you choose to go in that direction. So, like, I look at another promotion. I don't like to compare promotions, but in this case, I will. PWA, for example, they have the one title, and they have quite a stacked roster. So, they don't seem to have multiple titles. They can still tell plenty of stories just with that one championship. One singles championship, I should say. So I think that AWF may need to maybe they can, not that they need to, but maybe they can take a page out of that book and just keep it simple. The old saying of less is more might be relevant. But look, we'll see what happens, and that's just my opinion. I'm not necessarily right. So yeah, but those are my thoughts on that one. But again, congratulations to Chris Rucker and Grant Lindstrom for capturing the titles. Chris Rucker, I can see, has been doing heaps of stuff for AWF. He travelled with TNT over to WA and worked with some EPW roster wrestlers for Supernova over in Perth. So, he's putting in the hard yards, and he's got some reward here, along with, journeyman of New South Wales Wrestling, Grant Lindstrom. So congratulations to them, and to TNT for adding another belt to his very impressive repertoire in his long career. This next Wrestling Stars Championship, which, yes, AWF, if you're listening, I'd love to get some more information about the belt and the history of it, because yeah, it's very intriguing. All right, we'll leave AWF there, and we'll head down the highway to Wollongong and All Star Wrestling Australia. They're hosting a big tournament. This tournament has history dating back to 2007 and PWA Queensland, who are now known as Ringside Addiction. So Ringside Addiction have sort of given the green light. They've collaborated here with All Star Wrestling to bring the tournament known as Rise of the Warriors to the Illawarra. It's the 13th edition of the tournament. It'll take place on the 3rd of August 2019 at the Illawarra Leagues Club. Competitors announced for the tournament are as follows. We've got Canberra ACT's Dan Archer, multi-time champion across New South Wales, the Pantherine, Dean Draven, Draven's former tag team partner and perennial title challenger El Jaguar, Ringside Addiction champion Johnny Starr, Big Kegsy B, Keegan Brettle, the family's Tony Cruz, potential tournament breakout star Vinnie Bronson, and a special mystery competitor to be revealed on the night. The event will be capped off by a massive title bout between two of the biggest boppers in New South Wales. Love the big boppers in action, and this one will be two bulls going at it. It is the Machine Blake Stone, the All-Star Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, and he'll be taking on the Samoan Hercules and the head of the family, if you will, Hudson Hulk. I will keep you clued into the tournament matches as they're announced, but All-Star Wrestling doing very interesting things with this tournament. A real tip of the hat to history, and they've got some incredible competitors in this one. So very, very interesting stuff. Even though they're a Melbourne promotion, I will talk definitely talk Battle Championship Wrestling. They are touring Sydney. They're running Max Watts Sydney again on Saturday, August 31 for the Battle Championship Wrestling event number 33. Sorry, I shouldn't have said they were a Melbourne promotion. They're working the eastern side of Australia here, so I apologise, Battle Championship Wrestling. You will be included in the fold whenever you have news about Sydney in New South Wales, and this is a big one. Features legendary warriors Dan the Beast 7 and man and a man BCW fans will be very familiar with as well, Frank Shamrock. So two incredible warriors there. If you're familiar with UFC in particular, but also the pro wrestling scene as well. But incredible. Definitely tickling the nostalgia deep inside. So very cool. It's also going to feature Masashi Takeda, big Japan Pro Wrestling Deathmatch Division wrestler who once held the BJW Deathmatch Heavyweight Championship, and he will compete against none other than Mad Dog in a hardcore match for the BCW Championship. So who better could you have in Australian professional wrestling to go up against this man than Mad Dog? So perfect booking, BCW. BCW, in my view, they have a really good mix in their shows. They blend that nostalgia. I mean, obviously, Frank Shamrock has come down a couple of times now. They mix it with some good young up-and-coming talent as well. My last profile, Vinny Vane, he has wrestled for BCW as well. And then they're also getting established stars in the local scene as well, and then just dusting it off, topping it off on the topping, the icing on the cake, if you will. They get some internationals. They've had the likes of John Morrison and Taya Valkyrie as well. So very cool. It's a nice formula indeed. So yeah, if you're looking for some wrestling on Saturday, August 31, Battle Championship Wrestling number 33, and that will be at Max Watts in Sydney. So we're moving around the country here at a rapid pace, and once again we hit a local promotion, Future Wrestling Australia, who have named their next event on Sunday, July 28 at 5 RSL, with their international special guest in mind, as Scarlett Bordeaux arrives in Future Wrestling for their Rated S show. I thought it was Rated S for Smoke Show. It looks like they've cut it down to just Rated S, which, say no more. I know exactly what you mean. The main event is a three-way dance. It's between Scarlett Bordeaux, Nikki Van Blair, and Xena, which will be a great match with plenty of wrestling talent on display in that one. I'm very high on both Nikki Van Blair and Xena, so good booking choice from Future Wrestling Australia to put them in the match with Scarlett Bordeaux. Scarlett Bordeaux has a bit of a history with intergender matches as well. With Nikki Van Blair in there will be great, and then Xena is super talented. She is the current FWA Women's Champion, so yeah, great stuff. Other matches on the card in this one, we've got Nikki Van Blair's debauchery partner, Parker Thomas, and Ricky South, I should say partners. They'll be battling Reese Angel and Kai Drake. We've got FWA champion Sam Osbourne taking on possibly the hottest wrestler in New South Wales at the moment in Jessica Troy. That's going to be a great match as well. The FWA Mercury Championship will be on the line when Caesar defends against the incredible Paris de Silva. Man, what a great match that will be. Jack to Jordan will take on Kingsley. Big Fudge will battle his former tag team partner, Jude the Dude London. Matty Warburg, Jay Sorbet, Jason Dewhurst, and Donnie Mako battle in a match full of talent. That ring is literally ripping at the seams in talent on that one. I'll just stop it there. Matty Warburg, Jay Sorbet, Jason Dewhurst, and Donnie Mako. If you were going to say four wrestlers that are up and comers in Australia, really sticking with the name of Future Pro Wrestling Australia, those are the four. That ring is ripping at the seams with talent. And I think in the post, they were saying it was all about trying to impress Five Star Flash and Frankie B. I don't think it matters who the winner's going to be in that one. They will impress the hell out of those two people by surviving that match, basically. It's a Shark Tank. Sorry to use that pun with Donny Mako in the match, but it is a Shark Tank, that match. Speaking of 5-star, Flash and Frankie B, that dynamic is a very interesting one. And they have a special announcement regarding the Battle for Destiny 3 event that will also take place on Sunday, July 28th. The announcement, not Battle for Destiny 3. But it'll be interesting if it's going to be sort of like a power struggle between the two. It looks like it's kind of brewing a little bit from the videos and promos that have been going around. So maybe, I don't want to preempt it, but maybe the rosters might take sides with the feuding management. Maybe we see like a Survivor Series style match. Maybe we see several matches throughout the evening where the scores tally up and it might be for control of FWA. Who knows? I love speculating. But we'll just have to wait and see what that announcement's going to be. It proves to be very interesting. All right, let's move on to IWA, one of the longest running promotions in Australia, and it is the biggest show of the year for them. It's coming up on August 3 and is at Blacktown Workers Club. That is, of course, Fighting Spirit, and this is number 4. This looks to be an absolutely incredible card, an incredible night of wrestling. We've got rivals that have to be teammates, as Jackson Kelly and Cowboy Chris Abbott have to team up to take on the Rogue Element trying to infiltrate IWA in Tyson Gibbs and Apollo. That will be in an unsanctioned match. New implications from that one. The Live and Loud tour from IWA last night on Saturday the 20th of July. It appears that Cowboy Chris Abbott gave Jackson Kelly quite the beating, so it's going to be really interesting to see whether Jackson Kelly is still in this contest and how the two of them are going to work together, because they are bitter, bitter rivals. Definitely check out IWA's, I think it's IWA Play. It's their pivot share. Go and have a look at some of their matches at Suplex on the Sand, for example, where they have absolutely gone to war on each other. And now they've got to try and work together against a unit that is causing devastation in Tyson Gibbs and Apollo. So very concerned for the champion and Jackson Kelly, because if they don't work together, they could very well fall to Gibbs and Apollo. Mick Moretti also issued a challenge, and he wanted one of the best in the country, and he is going to get one of the best in the country. He is getting Adam Brooks in a match for the ages. We've also got Sam Osbourne taking on Full Force Matt Rogers. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but based on a promo that I've seen from Tyson Reed, this event is at the Blacktown Workers, and he is really poking the bear here. He said some pretty harsh stuff about Randall, who is a Blacktown native, a Blacktown legend. He's asked for one more match against Randall. I think Randall, from some Facebook stuff I've seen, he's been umming and ahhing prior to this challenge, because people wanted to see him potentially team with Cowboy Chris Abbott here against Gibbs and Apollo, but he sort of shied away and said, no, I'm not going to be in the country and all this sort of stuff. But it looks like he might be cancelling those flights, because Tyson Reed had some pretty nasty things to say. Randall has the opportunity to wrestle his last match before he retires, before he removes the mask once and for all. He could do that at Blacktown Workers. What better way than to shut up Tyson Reed, do it in front of his home fans, and ride off into the sunset. Sorry to use the cliche, but it's the perfect word, perfect phrase to use there. There will be more to come for that one, for Fighting Spirit, but the only thing you need to know about those shows are they are always top notch. There's 3 of them on IWA Play at the moment. They're a must in the New South Wales wrestling calendar. So I'm going to do my very best to get to this one as well. Life gets in the way sometimes, but I'm really going to have to make it a concerted effort to get to this one. All right. Well, despite taking over Hunter Valley Wrestling, so to speak, that might not be the right turn of phrase, but that's the phrase I've chosen to use. Kingdom Pro Wrestling are certainly the new kids on the block in the Hunter region, and they will kick off proceedings with the Smoke Show on Saturday, July 27, featuring, of course, international sensation Scarlett Bordeaux, who will be in a mixed tag match teaming up with the Mercenary. And no, I'm not talking about Flip Gordon. I'm talking about the real Mercenary, Slade Mercer, Australian wrestling royalty Slade Mercer. And they will be battling New South Wales and Australian wrestling power couple Big Kegsy B, Keegan Brettle, and the immaculate Jasmine Victoria. It's a great main event for their debut show. Keegan Brettle and Jasmine Victoria, they've been traveling around America, the Americas, I should say. They've been sharpening the tools, really working on their skills training, with Lance Storm, for example. And this is not going to be an easy match for for Slade Mercer and Scarlett Bordeaux. Absolutely not an easy match. I will be very surprised if this match ends quickly. I can see it going for a long time, and I can see Keegan Brettle really taking it to Slade Mercer, and I can definitely see Jasmine Vittoria wanting to prove herself against somebody of the caliber of Scarlett Bordeaux. As I said, great main event. They also had some back and forth with Elite Wrestling champion Vinny Vane, and they have suspended him based on the back and forth. He was originally scheduled to have a title match with DJ Sonic, which I thought was an excellent title match personally. DJ Sonic and Vinny Vane both bust their humps. And we've seen my profile of Vinny Vane. Well, you can see my profile, I should say, on Vinny Vane. But something, if you follow DJ Sonic on Facebook or Instagram or any of those sort of social medias where there's the story element to it, man, that guy busts his ass in the gym. He really does. He's always doing these really hard, high intensity workouts, and he's looking in really great shape at the moment as well. So I do really feel for him, missing the opportunity to just have that straight shot against Vinny Vane. But sorry, I'm getting a bit muddled up. The match was called off because Vinny Vane refused to defend the title. According to Kingdom Pro Wrestling, they've stripped Vinny Vane of the Elite Championship, and now we're getting a tournament. So DJ Sonic, even though he is missing out on that match, which, as Vinny Vane said, it was the battle of two of the most underrated wrestlers in the country, and I agree wholeheartedly. But alas, we have this tournament, and we're going to have some fantastic talent in this tournament to really determine an elite champion. So we've got Misfit, we've got DJ Sonic, we've got Grant Lindstrom, Tommy Jewell, Lucius Wolf, Vanilla Killer, Ryan Miller, Mason Creed, and the Deadly Shot Kasai. In that order I've given, they're actually the matches, the brackets, and the winner of each of those matches will go into a fatal four-way in the main event. Sorry, so my notes are incorrect regarding Mercer and Scarlett Bordeaux. So I apologise there. I'm absolutely butchering my first podcast back. But yes, it will be a fatal four-way in the main event for the winners of those matches, and we will see who will be the Elite Wrestling Champion following that main event, following the whole show, to be honest. We've also got Alina, who I know as Alina Kyle, versus Izzy Shaw versus Azalea. They'll be battling in a three-way dance, which will be a great wrestling match. I've already seen a promo from Azalea. She was very positive about both Alina and Izzy Shaw. So very respectful stuff from Azalea, and we will see a great match between the three of them, I'm sure. We've also got Lanik, the Backman, battling Piracy in a 2-on-1 handicap match. Piracy, of course, Caesar and the Buccaneer. So that's going to be very interesting because it's a 2-on-1 handicap match. Lennox is an absolute beast, but Buccaneer and Caesar are a phenomenal tag team. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there in the 2-on-1 handicap match. Currently, they have a discount on tickets. So if this podcast goes up, hopefully in time, Monday, the 22nd of July, will be your opportunity to purchase tickets to the event and get 20% off. So I do hope plenty of fans take advantage of that because the Hunter Valley, to me, appears to be a real heartland of wrestling in New South Wales. So I hope people support the promotion along with Suplex and, of course, Newy Pro to keep the scene thriving up there. So great segue. We'll move on to Newy Pro now. Newcastle Pro Wrestling, they had their number 80 show last weekend, which was live on OVO. I am super stoked that they have these shows live on OVO. That started with PWA, and now sister promotions sort of working together here. Newcastle Pro Wrestling now also doing the live stuff on OVO. It allows me in Sydney to stay up to date with all the goings on in Newcastle Pro Wrestling, watch it live, and I was able to watch number 80 from the Charlestown Bowling Club. It was an excellent show. I have written a review. If you want to check it out, it's on potatoandreceipt.com. But some of the quick results, we had the Velocities, Jude the Dude London, and Paris the Saw. They defeated Black Shirt Cool Group, which is Concrete Davidson and Jax Jordan. Matt Rogers defeated Billy Preston. I believe that was meant to also feature Jimmy Townsend, but he was not there. Billy Preston unfortunately fell to Matt Rogers in that one. Belle Pierce showed a meaner side to herself, and she defeated Tar Lee. Tyson Reed defeated Adam Hoffman via DQ, so he had a sore head despite winning that match. The new Kelly gang, Sam Osbourne and Will Keatis, they defeated Ricky South and Carter Deems, who sort of teamed up after they got attacked at the previous episode show, let's call it that. Jack J. Bonza defeated Royce Chambers and Massive Q with Parker Thomas. Just quickly, Royce Chambers, wow. Wow. Very young guy. I think he's 19 or something like that, or around that sort of age. And just the talent. If you're going to watch a match from this card, you've got to watch the whole card. There are some fantastic matches, but the last three matches on this card are fantastic. The new Kelly gang, Ricky South, Carter Deems, Jack J. Bonza, Royce Chambers, Massive Q, and Headhunter Rig and Mick Moretti. But man, Royce Chambers, one of the things I took out of the night, is so talented. I'm not really up to speed with Royce Chambers. I know he's a Melbourneian, but wow, so much talent there. The ceiling is up to him, depending on how hard he works. He could go places, that's for sure. Finally, the last match, Headhunter Rig was able to cross Mick Moretti off his list, his trophy list, his Hoss Hunt. So another big name off the list for Headhunter Rig, and I think he's a lot of people's picks to win the Newy Pro Rumble, which will be on Saturday the 17th of August. That one is also going to be streaming live on OVO, so I can't wait to watch that one. I will get up to Newy Pro and see a show at the Charlestown Bowling Club one day, but I'm glad that in the meantime I can sit at home and watch it on OVO. It is awesome. So thank you so much for doing that. Newcastle Pro also have their Who's shows, or it's more the House of Free Fighting. But yes, it is the training school of Newcastle Pro Wrestling. The Who's show, appropriately titled Full Who's. With the Who's party shows, they're always drawing big crowds. This one, I am sure, will be no exception. With two great matches already announced. In a match of haircuts you can set your watch to, Parker Thomas will battle Jack J. Bonza, and the Velocities will battle Team Hoos. So that's Dazza, Rig, and Carter Deems in a trios match in what could be and will be a warm-up match for Chikara King of Trios for the Velocities, because those three guys, Dazza, Rig, and Carter Deems, will make life very difficult for the Velocities. It is a good way for them to warm up for Chikara King of Trios, win or loss, though hopefully they get the W to build some momentum in the lead up to King of Trios. That will be a fantastic show as well, and I'm hoping that one will be on OVO as well. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. Speaking of sister promotions, we will now go to PWA, and I won't go into great detail here because I'm hoping to run sort of a preview cast for their upcoming event, which is, of course, Call to Arms, their anniversary show. So we'll see what happens. But Saturday, July 27, Max Watts, Call to Arms 2019 will be happening, and we will see TMDK battle the Four Nations in what has to be the main event of the evening, in my view. It's going to be a trios match. Speaking of warm-up matches for King of Trios, Bonza, Hoffman, and Moretti will get the ultimate King of Trios warm-up match. They're battling one of the most formidable teams in Australia, the Mighty. You got the Untouchables, which, you talk about the greatest tag teams in the country. The Untouchables are in the top two, in my view. Probably with the Nations. People may disagree with me, but they're my two top tag teams. But the tag team division in this country, honestly, is flourishing. You've got the Natural Classics as well, the Velocities, Street Gang Hooligans. There are so many teams kicking ass and taking names around the country. So you could put anyone at 1 and 2, but I really do believe these two teams that are battling at Call to Arms, it's going to be some of the best tag team wrestling in Australia at the moment. And it's a question that's been on a lot of people's lips for a long time about whether the Four Nations or TMDK are the better team. And, this match, if it's played out 10 times, could have different results, and could be 5-5 at the end. So it really is a toss of a coin in this one. It's going to be an amazing contest. So the Untouchables with Mikey Broderick, of course, PWA original Mikey Broderick, battling Bonza, Hoffman, and Moretti. Amazing. That is not the only match, though. The Black Shirt Cool Group, Jax Jordan and Concrete Davidson, they'll be battling SMS in Unsocial Jordan and the original Richard South. It's going to be a really interesting match, that one. Two very different sides of the moral landscape in PWA Black Label there. So we've had this tease of the third man as well. So will we see the third man from the Black Shirt Cool Group? Maybe not. But Jax Jordan and Concrete Davidson will definitely be trying to really derail this campaign from SMS to try and tame Black Label and remove some of the debauchery, if you will, some of the adult themes and the drinking. Another match, Sam Osbourne. He's been angling PWA for a challenge, and he is going to have the biggest match of his career, the biggest challenge of his career, in my view, against the Sniper of the Skies and Chaos's own Robbie Eagles. Huge match. Robbie has been on a mission even prior to sort of heading over to New Japan. He wanted to battle the best young up and coming, wrestlers in Australia. People rattled off lists to him on Twitter of people that they wanted to see him wrestle. He did wrestle Nick Golfus. He wrestled Tyler Payne, among many others. This is going to be another one of those matches. Sam Osbourne is fantastic. He's the FWA heavyweight champion, going back to them. Match of the night, I'd argue, at the Newey Pro 80 show with the New Kelly Gang taking on Deems and South. I thought that was an amazing match, although, it did have to compete with Rig and Moretti, but it was up there in my book. Fantastic tag team match. But Sam Osbourne can do it on his own as well, and this will be a huge test for him. If he can get through Robbie Eagles, though, man, that would have to put him up high in title contention almost for the PWA Championship, because that would be a hell of a scalp in the former champion Robbie Eagles. When I was about to record this podcast, that was the most recent announcement, but then we received the biggest announcement of them all. If you recall, there was a beautifully shot promo, all PWA promos at the moment are beautifully shot, but this one was on another level. It was the new PWA champion, Jessica Troy. She was sitting down, legs crossed, looking at photos of basically the entire women's division of PWA before she basically cut them all up into pieces, put all of their arms together to form the word all. And she is now the arm collector, and so from the destroyer to the arm collector. And it's going to be a big first offense for her because the biggest announcement of them all came tonight with Belle Pierce taking on Xena, taking on Kingsley, taking on Steph DeLander, taking on the returning and former PWWA champion Shazza McKenzie, taking on Jessica Troy in a six-pack challenge for the PWWA championship. Wow. We should get some more announcements from this week, but honestly, those matches that were there are on the card. You're getting your money's worth. You're definitely getting your money's worth. But these shows are always huge. The quarter arm shows, the last two, were absolutely incredible. And I believe at least the 2018 one is up on OVO. So definitely go and check those out if you can. And you'll see that these anniversary shows for PWA are massive. But it is show week for them. Stay on the Facebook page for PWA and their Twitter as well, so you're on top of any further announcements. Okay, Rock and Roll Wrestling. Rock and Roll Wrestling, hot off their tour featuring wrestling royalty Carlito. They've announced their next event in Wollongong. It's titled Get the Tables. And that will be at Diggers Wollongong on Saturday, August 10th at 6:30. They put on a great show. And when you've got internationals such as Ryback singing your praises on their podcast for your hospitality and professionalism, you know you're doing well. So, great stuff happening down in Rock and Roll Wrestling. They always have fantastic talent, whether it's local talent to the region or they get the likes of, Big Fudge, Jack Bonza. I've seen Robbie Eagles on cards down there as well, Matty Wahlberg. So they always get top-notch talent down there. I'll just quickly have a look at something, actually. Just bear with me for a second. I do have some results actually from the Wollongong show, which I had forgotten to put in my notes. I have a note here on my notes to look at it, so very unprofessional. But what I will do is, yes, so Wollongong results. So they supposedly had a crowd of 300 plus, which is bloody amazing. So great stuff. Dicko defeated Jackson Kelly. Brett Brady defeated Eric Fisher. Robbie Zuko defeated the Tradie. Sorbito defeated Morgan Rose and Kasai to retain the tag team championships with a 6 and out. And Otis pinned Hunter Hayes after Carlito hit Hayes with the backstabber to retain the Elite Championship. So that was the results of the Wollongong leg of the Rock and Roll Wrestling Tour. In regards to the Get the Tables match, though, the Get the Tables show, I should say, again, butchering this episode, I will pass on more information regarding match announcements as this was only announced today, the day I'm actually recording. So good stuff from Rock and Roll Wrestling. Keep up the great work. I do love wrestling in Wollongong. So, it's good to be able to cover some stuff outside of Sydney, that's for sure. Speaking of which, on to Suplex now. They have a run of shows throughout August. August 3, August 9, and August 24. August 3 is their Chapter 12 show, The Cruiser Can't Wait, which is featuring WWE and Impact star TJP. August 9 is their Explicit Wrestling show, which will be an adult-only event. And they've already put out a fantastic promo for Chapter 13. Chapter 13 obviously has sort of horror themes to the number. It's a creepy number. It's a strange number. And so they have gone with strange, with Chapter 13 titled Stranger Things. And it features a Stranger Things opening style promo video. It is wonderful, well worth checking out on the Suplex Facebook page. But I will go back to Chapter 12 because that is the one I should promote for the time being. It is a fantastic card from top to bottom. I really do love what Suplex is doing. I love the chapter shows and the talent on their roster. And here are the matches. You've got Lynx Lewis. He is battling TJP. So you've got the junior heavyweight champion taking on TJP. What better person to do that than Lynx Lewis? That is going to be a fantastic match. TJP getting some great matches while he's here in New South Wales. So it's good to see we're getting our best and brightest to go up against TJP with Lynx Lewis. And soon I'll talk about Michael Spencer getting the opportunity against TJP. Jack Payne, who has been on a tear as the suplex heavyweight champion, he will be battling Josh Gatt. Gatt is an absolute unit. Jack Payne is certainly in for a challenge, but every person that has accepted the challenge of Jack Payne has fallen to Jack Payne. So this one could go either way. Big boppers. I love the big boppers. You'll hear me say that a lot. And these two guys will have a hell of a match for the Suplex Heavyweight Championship. And whoever gets out of this one will only just be alive clutching onto that belt. Cloud Control will be defending their tag team championships against Carlo and Irvine. Big fan of Carlo and Irvine, so I believe they're a chance of taking out Cloud Control at this one and capturing the tag team titles. But obviously, Cloud Control have been very dominant as well, so we will have to wait and see what happens there. Lee Morrow will battle Chris Stevens. We've also got Khan Evil, who will take on Tar Lee and Logan Keane. And then match with some interstaters battling it out. It's quite a great match, if you ask me. Jet Ruka will be battling Richie Taylor. So that's going to be a superb match, and it will fit in perfectly at Suplex, I think. Well, Richie Taylor is a great fit for Suplex already, and this will be a big match for him against Jet Ruka. So great stuff. It's a great card. And yeah, if you are in the area, you are crazy if you don't make an attempt to get to East Cessnock Bowling Club on Saturday, August 3. TJP is going to be there. And then you're going to see some of the best in New South Wales battling it out as well. All right, we're getting to the end here. There's a few promotions to go, but we're on to Vulcan Championship Wrestling, VCW. They were at the Factory Theatre last night in Marrickville. It was a collaboration with the Sydney hip-hop scene. It was titled Beats and Beatdowns. I really do love the concept here. I love the meshing of music with wrestling. And I hope the show drew well and it was a great evening. I'll keep an eye out for the results that Vulcan Championship Wrestling post up. They've said they will post some results up. I looked at their story on Facebook, so you can do that too. Looks like there was a good crowd there and plenty of action. But speaking of which, if someone would like to get in touch and give me a report on any show around New South Wales or even interstate, I'll give it and you a plug, of course. You want to send in through any reports, show results, write-ups, etc. I can certainly give you a plug and pass on your feedback. Thank you, everybody. Okay, Wrestle Strong Dojo. It's a training school in Warrington Downs, and they're running a show in collaboration with the Fighters Against Child Abuse Australia, the FACAA. They're presenting a live pro wrestling event at the Penrith Gales on Sunday, July 28 from 2 p.m. And it features a heavyweight championship tournament featuring the likes of Dean Draven, Jace Chalmers, the Misfit, and Nate Carlo. It's a point system tourney with 3 points for a submission, 2 points for a pin, 1 point for a draw, or no contest. So there's two groups of 4 wrestlers. There's a round robin in each of the groups, and the 2 highest point grapplers will battle in the final to determine the winner. Also in action, you've got Alex Irvine, Shane Saw, Mindy Meltdown, and Rebecca Rumble. And the awesome referee Jess will be the official referee of Wrestle Strong Dojo's show. It is great to see a show in Penrith. I know World Series Wrestling run Penrith. AWF, I believe, do Penrith as well. It is good to see wrestling in Penrith. I hope there are regular events in Penrith. And again, they consider Penrith a part of Sydney, but let's be honest, it is a ways away. So it's good to have shows local to that area, so wrestling fans don't have to travel so far to get to shows. Then they can go see some fantastic talent close from a local wrestling school as well in Wrestle Strong Dojo. So great stuff from them. All right, Wrestling Go now, and they have a Friday night show on the 2nd of August, and it will be a celebratory one for them, as it will be Wrestling Go's 3rd anniversary. So congratulations to Wrestling Go, and they have such a great card to celebrate. TJ Perkins, TJP, he will be hitting Wrestling Go on his Australian tour, and he will be battling Michael Spencer, which on paper for me is a superb match booking. So well done to Wrestling Go there. I really cannot wait to see this match. Michael Spencer is extremely gifted. He is very good, and he deserves an opportunity like this. I can't wait to see him smash it out of the park. The Evan Monkley Memorial Tournament also concludes as Matty Warburg battles Kai Drake. Gat will be battling Will Keatis, and I guess that means that Belle Pierce will be battling B-Boy. We've also got an amazing doubles medals match as the Plastics Jason Dewhurst and Nikki Van Blair, one of my favourite tag teams in Australia, the Plastics. They are fantastic on Wrestling Go. They also kill it in other promotions as well, be it under the Plastics moniker or Debauchery or however you will. The two of them do fantastic things for New South Wales Wrestling. But anyway, they'll be defending their doubles medals against the Velocities, AJ and Jude the Dude London, which will be a superb tag match. Jessica Troy will be defending her silver medal against the rapscallion Mick Moretti. Man, what a match that's going to be. And if you think that's all, it's not. Ricky South will be battling the dominant Wrestling Go gold medalist, a worst case scenario, massive Q for the gold medal. Tough stuff, Ricky South. Worst case scenario, massive Q for the gold medal. Seriously, what a fantastic card this is. You want to go big with your anniversary shows, and I think Wrestling Go have gone very, very big here. Well done, Wrestling Go, and I really do hope it's a packed house. Wow, what a show. Lastly, I want to mention Roswell, the pro wrestler. He's created an event as well, live Pro Wrestling Bathurst. That's on Saturday, August 10, and that's at Panthers Bathurst. It'll feature the Big Boppers, a Big Bopper main event as Roswell battles Jack Payne and Josh Gatt. Triple threat. Incredible. Big Bopper match, that one. Alex Irvine and B-Boy will be in action, along with Lucius Wolf, the Blacktown Brawler, Tali and Jasmine, and Azalea, along with a tag match between Carnival and Piracy. It really does look like a great night of grappling. It's filled to the brim with some superb talent, a lot of the talent you would see on a suplex show. Look, if you are in or around Bathurst, you have to get to this show. Roswell is putting on a great event here. And as I said before, I love wrestling getting to regional areas. IWA are big proponents of it. We've got AWE doing it as well. It is great to see Roswell doing something very similar there as well. So, look, it's been a pretty jam-packed news week here. So there you go. Consumers of pro wrestling, you are up to speed with all the goings on in professional wrestling scene in New South Wales. There was plenty to get up to speed with. This has been New South Wales Newswire and Receipt Radio. Thanks for listening. And if you enjoyed this, want to stay up to date with me, I'd really appreciate a like on my Facebook page. That's the Potato and Receipt Pro Wrestling, or a follow on Twitter. So that's at Potato and Recei, RECEI1. Thank you, and get out and support the wonderful New South Wales wrestling scene, and for that matter, the whole Australian professional wrestling scene. We've got shows from Wrestle Rampage going up on Vimeo today. We also have the Ballroom Brawl that's going to be up very soon as well from MCW. The Darwin Pro Wrestling show was on as well. It sounded like it was a massive success. So support good professional wrestling in this country. So thank you, and until next time, this is the self-proclaimed Spud Muffin, Dan Wilson, signing off another episode of Receipt Radio. Thank you.